1984. Winston Smith lived in a big city called London. But this was not the London we know. It was the year 1984, and the world was very different. The city was dark and dirty. The buildings were old and broken. The people were poor and unhappy. Winston worked for the government. His job was to change history. He worked in a big building called the Ministry of Truth. The Ministry of Truth was not about truth. It was about lies. Winston's job was to change old newspapers and books. He made them say what the government wanted. He erased people who no longer existed. He made the past fit the present. The government was called the party. The party controlled everything. It controlled the news, the food, the jobs, and even people's thoughts. The party had a leader called Big Brother. Big Brother was everywhere. His face was on posters that said, "Big Brother is watching you." The party watched everyone all the time. There were cameras and microphones in every home and on every street. People could not hide from the party. Winston was not happy. He did not like the party. He did not like Big Brother. He wanted to be free. But he could not say anything. If he said anything against the party, he would be punished. The punishment was terrible. People who spoke against the party disappeared. No one knew where they went. They were erased from history. Winston lived alone in a small apartment. He had no family. His parents were gone. He did not know what happened to them. He had a wife, but they were separated. Winston was lonely. He wanted to talk to someone, but he could not trust anyone. Everyone worked for the party. Everyone watched everyone else. One day, Winston saw a woman at work. Her name was Julia. She was young and beautiful. Winston thought she worked for the party. He thought she was dangerous. But one day, Julia gave him a note. The note said, "I love you." Winston was surprised. He did not know what to do. He was scared, but he was also happy. He wanted to love someone. He wanted to feel something real. Winston and Julia started to meet in secret. They found a place where the party could not see them. It was an old room above a shop. The room was small and dirty, but it was their secret place. They met there and talked about their dreams. They talked about freedom. They talked about a world without the party. Winston and Julia knew they were taking a big risk. If the party found out, they would be punished. But they did not care. They wanted to be together. They wanted to feel alive. One day, Winston met a man named O'Brien. O'Brien was an important man in the party. But Winston thought O'Brien was different. He thought O'Brien might be against the party too. Winston trusted O'Brien. He told him about his feelings. He told him he hated the party. He told him he wanted to join the Brotherhood. The Brotherhood was a secret group that fought against the party. O'Brien listened to Winston. He said he would help him. He gave Winston a book. The book was called The Theory and Practice of Oligarchical Collectivism. It was a book about the party and how it controlled people. Winston read the book. He learned many things. He learned that the party used fear to control people. He learned that the party changed history to control the present. He learned that the party wanted power, not happiness. Winston and Julia continued to meet in secret. They read the book together. They talked about the future. They dreamed of a world without the party. But they knew it was dangerous. They knew the party was always watching. One day, Winston and Julia were in their secret room. They heard a noise. The door opened, and men came in. The men were from the thought police. The thought police worked for the party. They arrested people who thought bad thoughts. Winston and Julia were caught. They were taken away. Winston was scared. He knew what would happen next. He would be punished. He would be tortured. He would be forced to love Big Brother. He did not want to love Big Brother. He wanted to be free. But he knew he could not escape. The party was too powerful. Winston was taken to the Ministry of Love. The Ministry of Love was not about love. It was about fear and pain. It was where the party punished people who thought bad thoughts. Winston was put in a small, dark room. He was scared. He did not know what would happen to him. Days passed, and Winston was alone. He was hungry and tired. He thought about Julia. He wondered if she was okay. He hoped she was not being punished. He wanted to see her again. He wanted to be free. One day, the door opened, and a man came in. It was O'Brien. Winston was surprised. He thought O'Brien was his friend. He thought O'Brien was against the party. But O'Brien was not his friend. O'Brien worked for the party. He had tricked Winston. He had pretended to be against the party to catch Winston. O'Brien said, "You thought you could fight the party. You were wrong. The party is powerful. The party is always right. You must learn to love the party. You must learn to love Big Brother." Winston said, "No. I will never love Big Brother. I hate the party. I hate Big Brother." O'Brien smiled. He said, "You will learn to love Big Brother. Everyone learns to love Big Brother." O'Brien took Winston to another room. The room was bright and white. There was a machine in the room. The machine was for torture. O'Brien said, "This machine will help you learn to love Big Brother." Winston was tied to the machine. O'Brien turned it on. The machine gave Winston electric shocks. The shocks were very painful. Winston screamed. He wanted the pain to stop. O'Brien said, You must say you love Big Brother. Then the pain will stop. Winston said, No. I will never love Big Brother. O'Brien turned the machine on again. The pain was worse this time. Winston could not take it. He said, I love Big Brother. Please, stop the pain. O'Brien smiled. He said, Good. You are learning. But you must really love Big Brother. You must believe it in your heart. Winston was tortured for many days. He was given electric shocks. He was starved. He was kept awake. He was forced to see terrible things. O'Brien wanted to break Winston's mind. He wanted Winston to believe in the party. He wanted Winston to love Big Brother. One day, O'Brien took Winston to a mirror. He showed Winston his face. Winston was shocked. His face was old and thin. His hair was white. His eyes were empty. He did not look like himself anymore. O'Brien said, You see? The party has changed you. You are not the same person. You are weak. You are broken. You belong to the party now. Winston cried. He said, I love Big Brother. I really love Big Brother. O'Brien smiled. He said, Good. You are ready. Winston was released from the Ministry of Love. He was sent back to his apartment. He was free, but he was not the same. He was broken. He believed in the party. He loved Big Brother. One day, Winston saw Julia. She was different too. She was thin and pale. Her eyes were empty. They looked at each other, but they did not speak. They did not feel anything. They did not love each other anymore. They only loved Big Brother. Winston went to a cafe. He sat at a table and drank a cup of bad coffee. He looked at a poster of Big Brother. The poster said, Big Brother is watching you. Winston smiled. He said, I love Big Brother. Winston's mind was empty. He did not think about freedom anymore. He did not think about the past. He only thought about the party. He only thought about Big Brother. He was happy. He was free.